Hello and welcome to the One-Stop Spreadsheets Net Worth Tracker tutorial. In this video, we'll review how you can make your very own editable copy of the spreadsheet and how to use it. We'll also go over some important points and tips that you should keep in mind while using the spreadsheet. When you purchase the spreadsheet, you're going to get access to this PDF. This PDF will provide you access to the video tutorial and the spreadsheet template that you'll be able to make a copy of and start editing. In this tutorial, I'm using the dark mode version of the spreadsheet, but if you purchase the light mode, it'll function in the exact same way. So let's take a look at the spreadsheet now. Just click here to access your spreadsheet. First, make sure you're signed into your Google account. Once you're signed in, you should see this page. Click on Make a Copy. And shortly after, your copy of the spreadsheet will appear. Now you can go up here and rename the spreadsheet. I'm going to name this Net Worth Tracker. Before we get started, I'd like to go over some important tips that you should keep in mind while using the spreadsheet. First, for the best user experience, I recommend using the Google Chrome browser on your computer when using the spreadsheet. If you are viewing the spreadsheet on your mobile device, the colors will look inverted if the app is set to dark mode. To view the sheet optimally, in the Google Sheets app, click on the three dots on the top right and select View in Light Theme. To avoid breaking the spreadsheet layout and formulas, do not cut and paste data in the spreadsheet, drag or move cells from one place to another, add or remove rows or columns. If you accidentally do any of these actions, just use Command-Z on Mac or Control-Z on Windows to go back. To adjust how the spreadsheet fits on your screen, use the zoom setting in Google Sheets. To see more of the spreadsheet and less of the Google Sheets UI, go to View and select Full Screen. To exit the full screen mode, you can just tap Escape on your keyboard. And to update your locale, you can go to File and select Settings. Then you can adjust the locale and the time zone from the pop-up. Before we move on, you should make sure that the spreadsheet is set to the correct locale for you. This will ensure that the decimals in the spreadsheet are formatted correctly. To do that, go to File, click on Settings, and now you can update your country here. If you don't see your country in the list, just pick a country that formats its currency the way yours does. And then after you do that, you can just hit Save Settings. Now I'm also going to change my zoom settings. So up here, I'm going to type in 150%, but you can type in the value that works for your screen size. And I'm also going to enable full screen mode. When you first open the spreadsheet, it's going to open up on this Quick Start Guide tab. The Quick Start Guide contains some tips, common issues and how to resolve them, a link to the video tutorial, and some contact information. If you scroll down, there are also some formatting tips that we've already covered. You'll notice the spreadsheet has multiple tabs. This Quick Start Guide tab, 3 Net Worth Tracker tabs for different currencies, an example Net Worth Tracker tab, and a Terms of Use tab with some important information that you should review on your own time. So the first thing you should do is decide which currency you'd like to use, and then you can delete the other 2 currency tabs. So I'm going to be using dollar for this tutorial, so I can delete the euro and the pound ones. Just right-click on the tab you'd like to delete and click on Delete. You'll see this pop up asking if you're sure you want to delete this sheet. You can just click OK. And then you'll see this pop up as well. And here you can also click on OK. And let's do that again with the second tab. So delete, OK, and OK. You can also delete the other tabs if you've looked through them and feel like you don't need them anymore. Now I'm only left with a single Net Worth Tracker tab. So if you'd like to reuse this tracker for multiple years in the same Google Sheets file, I suggest you use this tab as a template, and then you can make copies of it for each year. Before we start editing the spreadsheet, I'd like to mention that there are parts of the spreadsheet that are editable and parts that should not be edited to prevent breaking the preset formulas. only clear colored cells are editable. So these cells over here are editable. And other cells like these ones or this entire table over here are not. We'll go through the entire spreadsheet and I'll point out which parts are editable and which parts are not. Also, if you do happen to edit a cell that contains a formula in it, for example, this one, you're going to see that cell turn red just like this, letting you know that you've deleted a formula. If that ever happens, just press Command or Control-Z on your keyboard to reverse that change. So to use this tab as a template, you'll just fill in the names for your liabilities and assets and leave everything else blank. So let's do that now. And as we're scrolling down, you can see we have this net worth by month table. And you can see there are no clear cells here. So you won't be entering any information in this table and it gets fully auto-populated. So let's keep scrolling down to the assets by months table. And here is where you'll enter your asset names. The assets are grouped into 3 sections: cash and bank accounts, investments, and other assets. So you can distribute your assets throughout these categories, and you can enter up to a total of 50 assets. For each category, these clear cells are the ones that you will be editing. So you'll enter your names here. And later we'll enter the monthly amounts over here. So I'm going to enter some names for the cash and bank account section first. So let's say cash and checking account. Now I'm done with this section. And so I'll enter the names for my investment assets. So let's say stocks, mutual funds. Now I'm done with the investments, and under the other assets section, you can enter names of any other assets that you may have that don't quite fit in the categories above. Now that I'm done with the asset names, we can scroll down and do the same for liabilities. Liabilities are broken down into 3 sections as well: credit cards, loans and financing, and other liabilities. You can enter up to a total of 50 liabilities. And same as for the assets, for each category, these are the clear cells that you'll be editing. Now I've entered the names of all of my liabilities. And now that all of the asset and liability names are filled in, we can duplicate this tab and start filling in the amounts in the copy for our current year. To duplicate a tab, just right-click on it and click on Duplicate. Now we've got the copy over here, and we can rename this tab. I'm going to name it after my current year, 2024. To rename a tab, you can double-click on the tab name, modify the name, and hit Enter on your keyboard. What I also like to do is click and drag this tab to the beginning so that when I open this Google Sheets file, it opens right on this tab. Now in this new tab, the first thing you're going to want to do is select a start date. You can start at any point in the year. And to select the start date, you can just type one into the cell, or you can double click on the cell and choose a date from the date picker. I'm going to leave mine set to January 1st. Next, you can set a net worth goal. This step is optional. I'm going to set my goal to $350,000. And notice when you type in a number into a cell, it'll automatically format to the currency your spreadsheet is formatted to. So you don't need to enter currency symbols manually. Now we can start entering the amounts. So let's scroll down to the assets. And I'm going to start entering my amounts from January, but you can start from any month. Also, keep in mind that as the year goes by, you can add new assets and liabilities to the spreadsheet and start entering their amounts from any month in the year. So I'll enter $4,000 for cash and $15,000 for checking and so on. Once you're done entering the amounts for all your assets for the current month, you can move on to liabilities and do the exact same thing. As you can see, the month of January is all done. And once I have my numbers for the month of February, I can go ahead and enter those in as well. Keep in mind that for assets and liabilities, you should not enter any negative values. So, for example, if my checking account balance falls below zero in February, let's say it goes to negative 500, I would enter zero here for February, and then I can go to liabilities and create a section for overdraft. And then under overdraft for February, I can enter the negative balance as a positive number. So it would be 500. And then mathematically, this will work itself out. If you do attempt to enter a negative value, so let's say we try to enter negative 500 here, you're going to see a warning. So just make sure you only enter positive numbers. Now I've entered all the amounts for February, so let's scroll up and take a look at the charts on top and everything else that has been auto-populated based on the information we've entered so far. So here you have your current net worth, total assets, and total liabilities. Then over here is the remaining to goal amount. And below that is a goal progress chart showing you how close you are to reaching your net worth goal. Then in the middle, you have a chart showing you your net worth over months. And below it is a chart showing you your total assets versus total liabilities over months. And as you can see, these points over here show the entered amounts. And these charts will update as you continue to fill in the rest of the months. Then to the right, you have two pie charts showing you your assets and liabilities breakdowns. To see the details of any section, you can just click on the chart and hover over the individual pie sections. Below, you'll notice the net worth by month section is starting to populate as well. And here you'll see your total assets and total liabilities for every month, as well as the net worth for every month. Then to the right, there is a change section showing you how much your assets, liabilities, and net worth have changed from the first month you started entering your data. So in this case, you can see that my assets have gone down, which is indicated by this red downward arrow. And you can also see the amount and percentage change. In this case, the change percentage shows 0 because the difference percentage is very small, but it is still a negative difference. And these values will update as you enter future monthly figures. And if we scroll down, you can see we have this change information for every asset and liability entry. And also, for every asset and liability section, for example, this credit card section, we have this totals bar. So these totals are the monthly totals for this section, and here are the change totals for this section. Please note that if your assets or net worth go down, for example, like the assets go down here, you're going to see a red downward arrow. But if your liabilities go down, like they do here, you're going to see a green downward arrow, since that indicates positive progress. On the flip side, if the assets or net worth go up, like the net worth going up here, you're going to see a green upward arrow. And if the liabilities go up, you're going to see a red upward arrow. Now I'm going to enter the data for all the remaining months and show you what a fully filled in tracker looks like. So this is a fully filled in tracker. And as you can see, we've actually exceeded our net worth goal in this example. So hopefully you all get to do the same. And one more thing I want to mention is if your starting month's balance is 0 for any of the assets or liabilities, the growth amount will be calculated, but the percentage won't be. So if I put 0 here, you see that I can see the amount, but not the percentage. And that's because this will equate to infinity. So it won't be able to display that. So what I could do in this case is, for example, leave January blank, don't enter 0 here, and simply start tracking from February where my balance is not zero. And then I'll be able to see both the percentage change and the amount change. And finally, when your current year is over, you can duplicate this template tab we created and rename it to your future year. So in this example, it would be 2025 for me, and then drag that back to the front. And then you're good for another year. And this is all you need to know to comfortably use the net worth tracker spreadsheet. This wraps up the tutorial. I'm dedicated to continuously enhancing this template, so to stay up to date on the latest improvements, new product releases, and useful tips and tricks, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for purchasing this product. If you enjoy using this spreadsheet, I would love to hear about it. Please consider leaving a review. If you have any questions or run into any issues, do not hesitate to contact me. Link to my store and this product is in the video description. Thanks again and have a great day.